Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming we have a special report about a big Battlefield 5 update. Black Ops Cold War has a cheater problem, Capcom were hit with a ransomware attack, and much more. DICE are releasing a massive overhaul for the Community Games custom server system tomorrow. This update is a big deal, regardless of it being the final chapter in Battlefield 5 support. Custom servers have been the lifeblood of the older Battlefield games, and they're basically the reason Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3 are still playable to this day. And while I might not be the biggest fan of Metro 24/7 servers with billions of tickets, a lot of Battlefield players are. Custom servers give players those kinds of options and much more to craft experiences that the overall community enjoys. Just think of how much more fun Battlefield 5 would have been if we never had to play Hamada, for example. Battlefield 5 is actually in a unique position thanks to the impending update. Unlike the other Battlefield games that segmented the player base with paid map DLCs, everyone has access to all of Battlefield 5's maps. Custom servers can have rotations of the game's entire map roster without shutting huge chunks of the player base out. And while we've had community game support in Battlefield 5 for a few months now, it's woefully inadequate, so basically no one uses it as far as I can tell, at least on PC. But the update dropping tomorrow could change that. The major additions to the custom server settings are adjustments for bullet damage, ticket count, soldier and vehicle respawn time, and round time. All of these can be adjusted from -50% to +200%. You'll also be able to define a custom name and description for your server. The server name is currently based on your user ID, so if you want to have LevelCap's Hardcore Infantry server, you'd literally have to change your origin ID to do that. Now, where things get really interesting with the new settings are the on-off toggle options. The update will give you the ability to toggle each soldier class, weapon types, gadgets, vehicles, and more. So if you want to have a no sniper server or an only sniper server, that would be an option. And while it seems like you'll have to have at least one soldier class enabled, I could see custom servers that are vehicle only too. The full list of new options is really extensive, and I think it'll satisfy a lot of people that have been asking DICE to give us proper custom server support like we had before Battlefield 1. It's still not quite at the same level as the previous Battlefield games, and the lack of third-party tool support for doing things like team shuffle and auto bans is still a bit of a bummer, but DICE are going in the right direction with this update. Hopefully Battlefield 6 will offer this kind of customization right at launch. Now, one caveat to the update is the new community game system won't go live as soon as the update does. DICE will be checking to make sure everything is working as intended before you'll be able to create servers. That said, I wouldn't expect a long wait for that to happen. On top of the new community game system, DICE are adding over 200 new cosmetics to the game. They're mostly vehicle skins, which is good news considering how few there currently are available. Aside from those additions, the update also includes a ton of fixes for minor bugs and issues. Nothing stands out as major to me, but every little bit of refinement does help. Footage of cheaters playing Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War hit social media recently and caused quite a stir. Aimbots seem to be the most common cheats being used. While it's easy to boo-hoo Treyarch's anti-cheat solution, the reality is cheats and hacks are nearly impossible to prevent. Cheaters have had a lot of time to study Cold War thanks to the betas, and with a name like Call of Duty, it's a high-value target for cheat makers looking to turn a profit. So of course there would be cheats available for it barely a week after launch. Hopefully Treyarch can clamp down on the problem before Cold War is integrated with Warzone. To their credit, Activision have shut down multiple cheat operations this year that were targeting Modern Warfare and Warzone, so it seems likely that this new batch of cheats will be dealt with one way or another. In more positive Cold War news, the game is officially the day one top-selling digital release in the COD franchise history. It makes sense with everyone stuck at home these days, but there was a lot of division and negativity surrounding Cold War's launch from a vocal minority of players on social media. It doesn't seem like their complaints had much bearing on the sales though. Capcom were the victims of a ransomware attack that has led to leaks of upcoming games, employee info, and even sensitive player details. While the hack took place earlier this month and some information from it has been floating around online since, new details have emerged. The release date for Resident Evil Village is set for April 2021, and it will feature an online mode called Dominion. Monster Hunter Rise is getting a PC release. Capcom are also working on a PvP shooter codenamed Shield that will have a demo in September 2021. The personal data that leaked is pretty concerning. Names, birthdays, emails, and physical addresses have all been leaked for customers, former employees, shareholders, and more. Credit card and transaction info hasn't been leaked though. If you own any Capcom games or have accounts with Capcom, now would be a good time to change your password. The Oculus Quest 2 now supports 90Hz output on all applications. The new VR headset originally launched with a standard 72Hz output. Users could enable an experimental feature that ran the display at a native 90Hz, but it only worked in certain apps and games. The latest update for the headset enables the high refresh rate mode universally. While 90Hz might not sound like a big deal, the difference between nausea and a comfortable experience for many people in VR is 90Hz. In fact, most players would consider 90Hz to be the minimum acceptable refresh rate for this kind of experience, so it's good to see that Oculus is finally unlocking it. PC hardware company ASUS are expecting more stock for NVIDIA's RTX 30 series GPUs. So far this month, they've received more stock than last month, which is a good sign that NVIDIA is slowly catching up with demand. But many retailers were reporting fulfillment rates well below 50% until very recently. NVIDIA and their partners have been cranking out hardware as fast as possible, but the pandemic and increased demand have outpaced their capacity since the new GPUs launched. AMD boasted a new technology for their upcoming GPUs that gives your CPU more direct access to VRAM. And while their wording made it sound kind of like a proprietary tech, it turns out it's actually built into the PCIe standards all mainstream GPUs are built on. AMD are just the first company to validate it for their products. NVIDIA are working on implementing it for their hardware as well. Considering smart access memory seems to be the boost that pushed AMD's new GPUs over the edge to beat NVIDIA, the situation could reverse itself if NVIDIA gets it working on their GPUs as well. In our final story today, Assassin's Creed Valhalla launched without achievements on PC. And while I wouldn't call that a deal breaker for the game, it was still upsetting for many players that enjoy tracking down every last unlockable for their games. In a bizarre twist, a Ubisoft rep stated that the lack of achievements was intentional as Ubisoft are focusing on Ubisoft Connect challenges instead. Another Ubisoft rep has since clarified that the developers are working on PC achievements and we can expect more info in the future. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. Let me know what you guys think about that new Battlefield 5 update. Do you think it has the potential to breathe some life back into the franchise and hold players over until the next one comes out, or has everybody completely moved on at this point? As always, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more future content, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.